My name is Cleo Lampos, and I've been writing some books, mostly about two of my special topics. One of them is quilts. I like to make quilts. I like to collect quilts. I like to cuddle in quilts. Creating Comforters is one of those books. Piecing fabrics, mending lives is the other. No, you're not going to learn how to make a quilt. You're going to learn about the lives of the people who make the quilts, the philosophies, the ingenuity, and the history that goes into quilt making. The other thing that I'm really obsessed about is the orphan train phenomena. It started in 1860 and finished in 1930 when people couldn't adopt any more children off the trains because of the Great Depression. I was visiting relatives in Minnesota, St. Cloud, and we went to a museum. When we went to the museum bookstore, there were all of these books with big steam engines on the cover with lots and lots of kids in front of the steam engine. I had never seen anything like it. I bought all the books, I read all the books, and was fascinated by this whole movement of children from New York City to the Plains area to live with farmers. From 1860 to 1930, 250,000 children moved on those trains and found forever homes with wonderful people who lived on farms. 300 children a month for 70 years left New York City, and most people did not even know that they were going. I went to Concordia, Kansas, to the Orphan Train Museum, bought more books. It was amazing how many diaries and journals had come from the people who had ridden these trains. I went to the Little Falls, Minnesota Orphan Train reunion, where Orphan Train writers used to go before they all passed away, but their survivors come, their children, their grandchildren, and great-grandchildren, and share their stories about the orphan trains. All of these things impacted me. But the one thing I kept asking was, why would a mother put her kid on a train like that and send them off, not knowing what was going to happen to them? I researched that and wrote A Mother's Song, a story of a mother from New York City, an Irish immigrant, who is going to give up her child for the orphan train. This book on the south side of Chicago has been called the best history of Irish immigration that there is. The other book that I wrote about the orphan train takes place in 1930. The children in it were adopted from the train before 1930, and we see the impact in their life. This book and A Mother's Song both have quilts in them and the history of quilts, so that quilt thing is just coming all the way through. But the book I want to talk to you about today is Riding the Rails to Home. When I was doing the research, I noticed that there was a lot about newsies, scrappy little boys who would get up at 4:35 in the morning, and they would be selling their newspapers on street corners all over New York City. Many of them were homeless. Some had families and they were sent out there to get a little bit of extra money so that the family could eat, but most of them were homeless or orphaned. The Newsboys Boarding House gave them a place to take their money, have a bed for the night, a hot bath, some food, a breakfast, and a chance to learn to read and write. And from this group of boys, some of them, those that had a lot of adventure and just weren't going to be settling down as clerks in New York City when they got older, were advised to join the orphan train and go out and work with some farmers. They did that. This is the story of one of those boys, Stephen. I looked through all of the journals and diaries and books and took a compilation of all these newsies and put them into this one story. So you follow him from being an orphan on the streets to finding his forever home. And yes, there is a quilt in that book. Thank you for listening. I hope that you'll enjoy reading some of the books that I've written, but this one is special to my heart. Finding a place for home. Riding the rails to home.